CQ Poto, Whiskey 7, Juliet, Sierra, Juliet, CQ Poto, Whiskey 7, Juliet, Sierra, Juliet.
Good luck, and on your application, 73.
73.
As a new or frequent visitor to colonial Williamsburg, eventually a curiosity regarding the city's authenticity is bound to form in your mind and raise a popular question many have wondered. Are all of these really the original structures that stood here during colonial times? With each walk taken up and down the Duke of Gloucester Street, along the Palace Green, and amid the capital of early colonial Virginia from long ago, a growing curiosity in the story of how the Williamsburg we see here today came to be is sure to take hold. A place where our American forefathers lived and forged a road to independence, right here along the lands that make up the old city. The government buildings, homes, taverns, storefronts, and many structures that still lie here, so well preserved. Logically thinking, you might begin to realize it could be a bit of a stretch to believe they all endured the test of time and stand here now as they once stood way back then. When clarity reveals itself, and surely it will, realizing this patch of historical landmarks is indeed a carefully planned and executed restoration of what once was here, with over 88 original structures and many more houses, shops, and outbuildings, fully reconstructed on their original foundations. Initially, your unknowingness will sit alongside just a slither of surprise. That is, until you begin exploring the story behind the restoration itself, and why understanding the city's rebirth will only heighten your experience exploring the areas that make up the colonial city of Williamsburg each time you visit here. A resilient and remarkable vision to preserve the remaining weathered and deteriorated 18th century colonial structures that still resided here in the early 20th century, while resurrecting others which had long since faded due to years of neglect and change. A timeline of perseverance with the pursuit of enabling modern-day visitors the opportunity to traverse the areas and explore the history that many great men and women of the Revolution once roamed. To see what they saw, to walk where they walked, to enter into places they've been. It's all right here, and the story of its restoration is longing to be told. So your next visit to colonial Williamsburg is enlightened with a new historical understanding, new meaning, new purpose, discerned through the vision of those who dreamed and ventured to bring it all back to life, as it once was, long ago. To truly understand the preservation and restoration of colonial Williamsburg, one must delve into the backstory of the man deemed responsible for implementing and coordinating its recovery. What would become a lifelong journey built on his passion for seeing the authenticity of Williamsburg restored, while cringing at the very thought of diluting it with any form of modern contemporary renovation during its eventual rebuild. Born in Richmond, Virginia, only a short 4 years after the American Civil War, a young William Archer Rutherford Goodwin, as a kid, Will or Willie, or more preferable to him in his later years, Reverend Dr. W.A.R. Goodwin, was raised in a poor family and attended a school that taught local children from a family home. On one end was where they held classes, and on the other end, the father of the house ran a cobbler's shop. It was here his best memories from his young school years surfaced, and later writing in his memoir that, "I can well remember the ambition which came to me in my boyhood days to copy the well-rounded and beautifully slanted letters, which she wrote on the top of a sheet of paper for us to copy, referring to letters that were written by his schoolteacher, Molly Roberts, an early glimpse at his interest in penning persuasive letters to achieve support for fundraising and other meaningful undertakings he would take on later in life. Goodwin attended both public and private school before beginning his college studies at Roanoke College in 1885. 4 years later, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree, and thereafter earning a divinity degree from the Virginia Theological Seminary in Alexandria, Virginia. Goodwin was ordained a deacon in 1893 and a priest the following year at a church in Petersburg, Virginia. In 1903, Bruton Parish Church, of which has a long history in the area, going back to when Williamsburg was known as Middle Plantation, called upon Goodwin to serve as rector of the parish. During this period in his life, Goodwin grew a healthy fondness for the city of Williamsburg and all of its unique history. In Williamsburg, he learned more about the women from the parish that back in 1884 had formed a preservationist group that set focus on preserving some of the significant colonial structures and historical landmarks that surrounded the church. They accomplished endeavors like acquiring the Powder magazine, restoring grave sites on the parish grounds, and securing the foundation of the Capitol building. In 1905, undertaking the inherited restoration project of Bruton Parish Church, as well as earlier efforts taken by others to preserve the surrounding colonial grounds, surely must have impacted his motivation to garner the financial support necessary to finalize the church's restoration, of which also allowed him opportunities to improve his pitch for fundraising, as well as spreading interest regarding the idea of restoring Williamsburg.